Area Voices tells the arts, culture, and history stories of northern Minnesota. Most of us can envision a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Well, pulling a play out of a hat is somewhat similar in that where there was nothing, there is now something. But creating or pulling a play out of a hat has less sleight of hand. It's a lot more original. It's a lot more work. And it's a lot more fun. And director, producer, and actor Greg Gasman is bringing his Out of the Hat Theater Festival experience back to the Chief Theater in Bemidji this weekend. He promises an evening of never before seen one-act plays that are created by local talent, and he's here in the studio to tell us more about it. Thanks for coming in today, Greg.
Hey, you bet.
Yeah,
it's good to be here.
And welcome back to Bemidji.
Thank you.
We're happy you're back. It's been a while since you've pulled one of these hat tricks.
Yes. Actually, I haven't been back here for 7 years, but when I left, the group did one without me once. I guess it was pretty funny. They came out dressed as me, looked like me, and tried to pull it off as me, but they only tried one. So.
Oh my gosh! So it's a major event. Involves a lot of people. What's going to happen for anybody a lot of people don't live in Bemidji who hear us. What's going to happen Saturday and Friday night too?
Yeah, Friday night it starts. So it's really fun. Like I was telling you before we got on the air, I did this up in the UP too. I did it at a theater, and I've got a theater lined up. I work down in Indiana in the summer, and I have a theater down there that wants to do it too. But so what happens is on Friday night, there's about 30 some of us that get together. Actors, writers, directors. There's 5 playwrights, 5 directors, 20 actors, and then technicians that I've brought in too to help with the whole process. Everybody's scribbling on little pieces of paper, and they're putting them in these hats. And at about 7 o'clock or so, the playwrights walk up and they pull out of a hat location of your play. They go to the next hat, first line of your play. They go to the next hat, an object that you either have to write into the play or you have to talk about during the play. And then the 4th hat, it says you have 2 men and 1 woman or 3 women or whatever. And then they go away and they have 12 hours to write a 15-minute adult comedy. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, the directors and the actors are at the historic Chief Theater, and the directors walk up on stage and pull out of a hat that, you have a play written by Jeremiah Lind. You need 2 men and 1 woman. Then they go to a hat that says men on it, and they pull out, hey, Jerry, you're in my play. They don't get to pick their own cast. It's all pulled out of a hat. They pull out of the woman's hat, Barb, you're in my play. And then they have roughly about 10 hours to put it all together, learn the lines, learn the blocking, learn the characters, do lights and sound and costuming and props and everything. And the whole process, I would be lost without Cheryl Winnett. Cheryl Winnett is anything you ask for prop-wise, costume-wise, whatever, she has it there. She has it there well before you've expected it there. She's just an amazing find for up here, a lifesaver. But, yeah, so we have a lot of people involved. It's very exciting. We have actors coming back from Minneapolis even to be in it. Have an actress coming from the UP to be in it. It's something that it's like, once you've done it, you have to do it again.
Oh. So had you done this kind of a thing before you brought it to Bemidji?
I actually, when I was over here doing my theater, I heard of this theater in Duluth trying this. So I contacted them, and they said, would you like to come over and be a guest director? And I said, I'd love to give it a shot. So I went over there. Knew very few people from that theater community, but what they did, and I've changed the whole process, and they've stopped doing it. And I think it was a little hard what they were doing. What they were doing was they would get together Friday night, do this what we do, and then Saturday they'd put it all together. But they didn't have any techies with them. They depended on the actors to do everything. They had to go find their costumes, find props, do everything before Saturday night. And then what they would do on top of that is Saturday night, they'd let the audience fill out little pieces of paper, and they'd do it again for Sunday night. So they did it 2 nights in a row. And it was like, I mean, we're wasted after one night, but to do it 2 nights in a row, it was rough. So when I brought it back to Bemidji, I brought it back for just one night. I brought technical people on board so that the actors can just act, because that's hard enough to learn lines in, especially when you're aging, to learn lines in that short a time and to find a character. And then I've also brought in local musicians who play in between the scenes while we're getting it set up. So I've tried to make it a whole evening of entertainment. So, and I'm doing something new this time too. The very first play that we ever did was by a good friend of mine, William Borden. He wrote a little piece called The Elevator, and it was just for 2 actors that got stuck in the elevator. And it had to do with Minneapolis and New York and Bemidji, of all places. But that's what they talked about in the elevator while they were stuck in the elevator. Well, the actors that were in that, they found that old script, and they brought it to me and said, well, let's do the original thing. Well, the problem is that they don't have, like, the ending of it. They found all the pieces except the ending. So we've kind of put together what we thought the ending was to it, the way that William would have written it. And then I asked all 5 of my playwrights to write the ending. So we're going to do that play once, and then they're going to do the ending 5, 6 different times to just show the audience, too, something new of how a playwright can change a story.
How cool.
So that'll be kind of fun. A learning experience, too.
No kidding. Who are the playwrights this year?
So the playwrights are Jeremiah Lind, Catherine Lavelle, Roy C. Booth, Abby Bacher, and Eric Kuha. So they have all written for us before. So, so it's pretty awesome. Directing is Derek Houle, Vicki Stenerson from the BCT, Kate Beliveau, Mike Breeden, more of a film director, and then myself right now. I'm still looking for another director. At least it's like sometimes you get I've got stuck once where I not only had to organize it all and get it together, and then it was like at the last minute, lost a director, I need to direct. And then the very last minute on Saturday morning, we've lost an actor. So then I had to act and direct and run it. So that's hard.
Wow. I was wondering how you came up with all the ideas and the hats, but it sounds like everybody's generating ideas.
Yes.
And they're just tossing them in.
Yeah, they just toss in those little things to get the playwright going.
Yeah.
So, and it's amazing. I mean, most playwrights, they're done with it in 2 or 3 hours or so. They go and they get a brainstorm. And then we have, occasionally a playwright who, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and here it comes over like at about 7 or 7:30. And it's like, because we got to make copies of them all, and get them ready. So.
Oh, my gosh. We're talking with Greg Gasman. He's got a theater event happening in Bemidji this weekend. Out of the Hat starts Friday, and it culminates Saturday night with original theater being produced in 12 hours and hitting the Chief Theater stage at 7:30?
7:30.
Saturday night, the curtain will go up. What are the actors and directors doing Friday night? Just sort of resting?
Well, I guess, some of them have gone so far because some of them are getting together and haven't seen each other for a while,
Yeah.
And some of them have tried going out and partying afterwards, It's like, no, you got to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
A lot of memory work going to happen in the morning. You don't want to be cloudy.
I know. But it's better, though, because, now, like I said, we have 20 actors. So you're talking 3-4 actors a show, less lines. When we first started, we couldn't find that many actors that wanted to do it. And so you got stuck with doing like 2 actors, like the elevator. That's a lot of lines for 2 actors to learn in 10 hours.
I remember Sasha Almendinger, I think, was in that one.
Sasha and Derek Houle.
Yeah.
In it, so,
yeah. How much flexibility do the directors get with the script?
Okay, so there's the thing, too, and all my writers know it, because I'm more of a director, director-actor type. I told them that the directors have full control of that script. And it happens even with other shows that I do. If I want to change something, I just change it. But I've told this to the writers, and they're aware of it, and over the years, they've changed things to make it work. Because sometimes when you're a director and you see something on stage, it doesn't quite work, Like I remember when I did it in Duluth, I was scared to kind of do what I did, but I was working with, I just had 3 women, and they were actresses that had been on the Duluth stage for like 20 years, and it was like, I said, you guys, what do you think? And they said, this show really sucks. And it's like, I said, yeah, I know what you mean. I said, do you mind if I change it? And they go, do whatever you need to. And so being with them, it gave me so I took that show and I took like the first page and stuck it in the 7th, and I switched it all around and just made it as fun as we could, so the actresses had a blast doing it, and that's what it's about. If they're having fun, the audience is going to have fun.
Absolutely.
And the playwright has to live with it. Sorry, guys.
Well, usually every Out of the Hat I've been to, it's usually worked out for the best.
Yeah.
I don't recall any duds ever.
No. They've really been really fun, and it's really fun. And
wow.
It's fun because Out of the Hat, you see different people in the audience than you do at other shows even. I don't know if it's because of the live music you add to it as well, but there's different. It's really a fun evening. I always say to myself, it's like, and it's still $10. That's less than 10 cents a laugh,
Right. Well, and it's the plays are short. They're like palatable little nuggets, and then you're on to the next one.
Yeah, and some of them have gone on. Like Royce C. Booth has taken some of his beyond that, and Jeremiah Lind has taken some of his and done them, in Minneapolis and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
You've been involved in theater for a long time. You want to talk a little bit about your personal history with this art form?
I'll tell you how I ended up in Bemidji. Theater was like, I was an art major in college and never had been on the stage or acted or anything, always been kind of the clown in class, but never did anything. And I was at my second college, just walking down the hall one day, and some guy, I saw it said auditions on a door, and I stuck my head in, and the guy who became my mentor said, come on down here and let me hear you. And I've always had a loud voice, and I read for this guy and did some, I used to be able to do a lot of good pratfalls. I still do at my age, but scarier. But anyway, I got the lead role in this play, and since then it was like click. It's one of those things you always hear about it, and it definitely happened to me. So that became my major. How I ended up in Bemidji was in 1982. I was up here. Bambi and Dewey Goodwin are my wife's sister, Bambi, and I was up here. He was building a log house that they're in now, but we were helping them build. And one day I thought, this is where the Paul Bunyan Playhouse is, and I hadn't done anything with my wife, with my girlfriend then, Kay, my girlfriend at the time. She didn't. I always told her I was an actor, but I hadn't done any theater yet, Mm-hmm. And so I went over to the Playhouse, and they were already into their season. Rehearsing and stuff. It was Michael Brandisi, who's now been director of the Chanhassen for the last 15 or 20 years. But anyway, I walked in and I said, hey, I see you're in rehearsal. I said, I've just always talked about the Paul Bunyan Playhouse with other people around, the country and stuff. And I said, but here I am. And I said, can I audition for anything? And he goes, well, I've already got the show's cast, but, do something for me. Let's read it over. And after I did my audition, he recast all 6 of his shows for the summer and put me in them all. So it was like, well, here I am in Bemidji.
Wow.
So, I was an actor in the Minneapolis, but that's how it started. So then in the fall, Todd Haugen and a few other people that were in like the last musical of the Playhouse, I called one of them up and said, you guys don't have anything going on here in the year. And Kay and I had decided to stay here and live here because it was so beautiful here. And I said, you want to get something to go on? And they said, well, we had a group read A Christmas Carol or something that December. And we've always wanted to do something, but we never could get it together. And I said, well, come on over to my house and we're going to read a play and we're going to start the Bemidji Community Theater. And so we did. And that was back in the fall of '82. And then after that, after directing 3 seasons there, or 2.5 seasons there, then it was like, I got to start doing the theater I like to do. And so do crazy stuff.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're back.
Yeah, because I've been traveling around to Indiana and the UP and doing theater at different theaters. And I also, I'm a technical director, so I build sets and stuff. And so I've been trying to stay busy in the theater business now, so it's kind of nice.
Awesome. That's Greg Gasman. Out of the Hat Productions take the stage at the Chief Theater this Saturday evening. The curtain goes up at 7:30. Whether or not everybody is ready.
That's right.
They're going to pull it off.
That's right.
And tickets are at $10 for adults, $8 for students and senior citizens. This is locally grown theater.
Yes.
Local artists, 5 writers, 5 directors, 20 actors, and a handful of local musicians. Tickets are available at the door or at Bridget's Pub in advance.
Yes, they're sponsoring us, so yes.
So thanks for coming in, Greg.
Thank you, you guys.
Everybody
awesome.
breaks legs this weekend.
Right. Yay.
Coming up next is music.
Off the back of my head. I don't wanna die